tea.
I do drink coffee. I'm in like a pretty utilitarian coffee space at the moment. And it's not, I buy beans at Target, and then I grind them, with some degree of specificity for a, percolator that looks a little bit like a grenade. It's like it's like an old German thing. And it's, usually pretty bitter and not that good. But I think that somehow my having gone through the well, I guess it just connects to my general distaste for connoisseurship culture at this stage of our culture anyways. And so I think I just can only take coffee drinking so far, even though I really do, of course, enjoy it when it's delicious.
Mm-hmm. I think that utilitarian focus on coffee is kind of lost on a lot of people because, in the like coffee industry right now, it's so about these like precious flavor notes and stuff like that. And that's fine and dandy, but, there's like such a purpose to, serve with coffee.
Well, cool. It's awesome. Sorry, one more thing about coffee, which is because I think coffee is like it's a really perfect, it's such a good question because it's really a microcosm of what's sort of messy about many different parts of our culture and consumption. And that it's like people are fighting over the last 5% of quality when we're already in the territory of you're already drinking. Like if you go to Target, they're selling you already single origin bags of coffee and they cost $7 for a pound. You can go someplace else and pay literally 20. I think I bought as a present it was probably not, if it was probably 12 ounces of coffee from some roaster in Orange County and it cost $24. Mm-hmm. And of course it was delicious, but it was also delicious in this last few degrees of separation, which just feels like we've lost sight of the state of the world in general and are instead focused on some really minute aspect of our consumptive patterns because we can't figure out what is possibly more meaningful, which just seems really sad.
Yeah, the sort of Pareto side of that, where it's squeezing out that last 5% for all that extra effort and expense, doesn't sit well with me. But so in terms of coffee and the utilitarian purpose being, I think, largely to stoke inspiration and intellect and stuff like that, it reminds me that our mutual friend Albert, I think, introduced us because I'm a nootropics person, and I think he mentioned you being interested in them. Mm-hmm. And then I came across your little presentation talking about Lawnmower Man, and that's my favorite nootropic movie probably. So is this still something that interests you? The nootropics those?
Nootropics? I feel the piece, Music X, the piece that involved the director of Lawnmower Man was kind of like a it was like a concept store for a speed learning system for music theory, of which Brett Leonard was the spokesperson. And in that, it was really more like a critique of people's hopes for VR by just talking about how they haven't changed very much. And so I think similarly, it's not that nootropics is a new idea, or that people have, or that it's even the idea of optimizing or changing yourself is a new idea. And I guess the way that I've been thinking about it at the moment is less through what I consume through my mouth, and more I've been thinking more about what I'm breathing, and also I guess I've been rethinking a little bit of the trajectory of experimental music in terms of what early 20th century new ageism is, which kind of connects to this whole thing, and just thinking how it's not that, obviously new age music gets a bad rap, and in part for really good reasons, but it's also, I guess what I'm starting to think about is just that maybe experimental music is actually a subgenre of new age, in the same way that nootropic experimentation at this point in time is kind of a subgenre of this much older new age ethos, which is just that, which actually even connects to the coffee stuff, which is that it's like people trying to figure out how to change themselves, and having the belief that there is some purpose and meaning to doing that, and that um, there's more to experience than what you're born into through the culture. I mean, what gets tricky, and so I think with experimental music, to me, the core rationale for the core question is always, for someone who doesn't care about it, is like, why should I listen to things that I don't already like? Why should I be seeking out things that sound bad? And why would anyone do that to themselves? It doesn't make, there has to be some kind of philosophical runaround to convince oneself that that's worth the time. So yeah, I'm not currently like consuming anything special, but I'm thinking a lot about this stuff in other ways, mostly in terms of how to think about and invite people into the sphere of this listening room here in Gardena called Black Hole.